Good evening and welcome to a regularly scheduled meeting of the City of Hartford Plan Commission. All proper notices were sent. I'd like to call this meeting to order and next ask for the review of the minutes from our January 16th meeting. Everybody take a peek. Everybody
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second by Scott. Any discussions, corrections, additions, subtractions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Get some feedback here. Okay, next, appearances. Anybody wishing to appear before the Plan Commission, just step up to the podium, state your name and address. You get 3 glorious minutes. Second call, third call for appearances. Then we will go to right to item number 4, discussion and consideration of a rezoning for 714 Union Street. And with that, we have City Planner Justin Drew.
The owner is looking to redevelop the property from 2-family to single-family in order to sell it. They think that's a better use of the property. The neighborhood has a mix of single-family and 2-family uses in the area. The lot and the structure meet the required zoning setbacks for the RS6 zoning district, so staff recommends in favor.
Okay, any discussion by commission members, comments, questions for Justin? If not, I'd entertain a motion, or
I'll make a motion to approve.
Tony to approve, second by
I'll second.
Scott Henke. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Item number 5, discussion and consideration of a site plan for the McNee offices 120 County Highway K. Justin Drew.
This property was annexed to the city last month. You looked at it for the annexation. The lot 1 to the south of it is the future second fire station, just off the terminus of Shower Drive. They proposed an approximately 4,100 square foot building. It would meet all setback requirements of the B4 district. Lot coverage would be 7% of the site, well below that allowed by code. The building would be a single-story structure with a facade composed of gray modular brick wainscot, gray horizontal composite siding, and longboard aluminum siding in the west gable and framing the primary door. Numerous windows. It's kind of at a residential scale. I think it's very attractive and will go well there. The plan shows 22 total parking stalls, which meets the amount required by code. It's located on the south and west side of the building. There is space for additional parking at the southwest corner as well as on the east for an additional 20 parking spaces. So I don't have an aerial, but there's an existing driveway from County Trunk Highway that mirrors where Shower Drive will go, and for the time being they will access their property through that driveway rather than directly from Highway K. In the longer term, when the fire station is built, we will do a right-of-way extension of Shower Drive, and it'll have a turnaround in all likelihood or a cul-de-sac.
Can we take some of those parking spaces and give them to the restaurants and the hair salon across Highway 60?
Already,
they got way more.
Already dealt with. They've got a proposed biofilter pond and have submitted everything the engineer needs. Stormwater maintenance agreement is required, and staff will provide them with a template. The submitted landscaping plan, if I can, there's a really large file. Oh, it does pop up. An attractive landscape plan with 4 large deciduous trees, 2 large spruces, 5 smaller deciduous trees, 84 deciduous and evergreen ornamental shrubs, and 140 perennials. Most of the evergreens would be located north of the building between it and the existing house to the north, which will help create a nice screening. The owner of that home appeared at the council meeting and asked that that be done. So they do show a dumpster enclosure at the northwest side. They also submitted a photometric. Oh no, they did not submit a photometric plan because they're just doing wall packs. So Staff recommends approval, subject to meeting the utility directors and engineers' requirements.
Go ahead, Dennis.
I'll be abstaining from the vote.
Okay, we have one abstention from the vote. With that, Tony?
Just a clarification, Justin. So you're stating that Shower Drive, the way it is right now, there's just an entrance to that location, and the cul-de-sac part of that is not going to be
It's not
completed at this point as part of this whole thing?
correct. They don't have a ton of traffic to and from there, so the existing driveway will suffice. And it's a fairly extensive capital improvement project to extend that right-of-way with a full road, so we're going to hold off until we need it for the fire station.
Thank you.
Super. Joe, go ahead.
So is this this is gonna be just like a one office building, right? There's not gonna be multiple, businesses within this one, or is it?
For the future building addition, I mean, with what you're seeing in front of you, it's just one office. For the future addition, which would essentially double the size of the building, that's still open as to what, it gives them room to expand. If they decide they don't need to expand, they could also build and lease to suit.
And that's all within the building code and everything else like that right now?
Correct.
So-
Yep.
Scott, did you have a question?
Yeah, just address, Justin. This will be a Shower Drive address or a County K?
It's a K address, 10120 County K.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? If not, we'll look for a motion to approve.
Also move.
Scott Hickey to approve,
I'll
second by Scott the Postmaster. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Sixth items, discussion and consideration of a site plan, the Redmond Company on 1570 East Sumner Street. We go to our city planner, Justin Drew.
You obviously all saw this last month, had some concerns about the driveway location off the private street as well as the amount of parking. So the Redmond Company came up with a new plan that addresses the concerns that the Plan Commission had. This is the new proposed site plan, and I'll toggle back and forth a couple times so you can see the difference between it and the previous one. It moves it a little closer to Highway 60.
That's the old one?
That's the old one, so you can see the drive. They were originally going to use the existing driveway off that private street, which starts the turn lane essentially right after you get off of 60. The new one is moved back about 35 feet, so a couple car lengths. It also has 11 additional parking stalls. They had to get rid of some landscaped area on that north area, north of the drive-through, in order to accommodate those. And the landscaping areas up near Highway 60 shrunk a little bit as well. But they were able to keep the same footprint of the building. All of the setbacks obviously still meet code requirement. So they now have 48 parking spaces proposed. And they also did give us some data on parking ratios for some of their other projects. So that's included on page 2 of your executive summary, which shows building square footage and then parking spaces. And so basically the way this is formulated for footage per parking space, a lower number is better. And so for what they're proposing, it's actually they will have the most parking per square foot of building. So they went in the previous iteration from having the least amount of parking per square foot of building to having the most compared to their other properties. So it should work very well with this. They are, by code, required to have at least 16,500 square feet of parking / driveway space. They've got about 20,000 square feet, so they're definitely over the code requirement. The engineer and I were happy with where they moved that driveway to. They also are going to put a sign that says no left turn out of that to try and help with queuing and avoid creating backups as people are trying to leave the drive-through. They did also indicate that it's not a traditional drive-through so much. I mean, you could go up and just order food, but 90% of the people order online on their phone or wherever, and it's just a pickup. drive-through pickups. So at least from the city engineers and my point of view, they addressed all of our concerns and I think addressed all of yours, so we recommend in favor.
Got a question. Have they had any discussion with the folks who own the driveway just to the north of that to be able to ask if there's a possibility of employee parking? Are they in discussions with that? Have they?
They have
reached
had
out?
some discussions. I don't think they've reached an agreement, but they're exploring that option.
Because that would be something that would, that was the last point as far as the,
Yeah,
that was
and-
brought up at the last meeting.
Yeah, and I think given how many spaces they were able to add, and given that they meet the parking requirement, I don't think we illegally can make them do it. But I certainly passed along
Right.
that was recommended, and they indicated that they do have those conversations ongoing.
Right, well, because what was mentioned, of course, at the last meeting still holds true, is that once this is okayed and goes through council and gets okayed, we no longer have any type of control, as Scott Hickey pointed out last time. We lose it all, and he's correct. So I want to make sure that we're, in the correct lane when it
Sure.
comes to, gee, we're really tight, because who's going to get the complaints? We
Sure.
are.
Yeah.
And 11 spaces, that's great. I like the no left turn. I like the fact that, they have put a good faith effort to move forward in directing this. I personally would look at approving it, but I just want to make sure that I'm
Sure.
echoing what was talked about at the last meeting, because what would, after this, if they didn't have employees parking, or a majority of the employees parking in that square and had them on that north parking lot area, which I never see cars in that park, that would absolutely lock in the fact that we would not have any problems with
Right.
customers coming in, so. Okay, anybody else? Any comments, questions? Good, Joe?
Yeah, like I said, I was happy to see that we were able to move forward, getting some more spaces. It was funny because I think it was right after that meeting on Friday, I happened to be driving kind of out of town, and granted, January, you got a lot of people at the fitness center, but there was a lot of people that were parked and using like the Anytime Fitness and stuff, and they were still using that parking, these parking stalls right in that property, so.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see how the battles go, but I mean, it's January, right? So most people have got the New Year's resolution and hitting the gyms. That might die later, but, but it was good to see, they added the spaces, especially for the restaurants, employees and, the patrons even picking up their food. So,
Yeah.
kudos for them to listen and come up with a solution to help us.
I think the comparative data that they gave us kind of showed that they were maybe a little deficient earlier, and it was a good call on all of the plan commissioners' part to catch that. But I think now they're at the top of the range for their comparable properties, so I think that's
What
good.
about snow removal? Where are they going to put it? Do they have an area that they're going to be able to move the snow to? Because we can't afford to lose a lot of parking places because of a ski hill that they would build on
Yeah,
one side.
they'll have some places they can put it, and as much as anything, that may be something they negotiate with the owner of the Piggly Wiggly Strip Center.
Okay. Well, with that, any other questions for Justin? If not, would look for a motion. Looking.
So moved.
Okay, Joe and Scott Henke. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We stand adjourned to the call of the chair.